From CHGO, it's Adam Hoge, and from The Athletic, it's Adam Jahns.
It's one of the craziest games that I've covered live. That crazy.
I feel like, how many times a season do we say that?
Yeah, but this one,
I know.
In the red zone.
I'm not disputing what you're saying. I'm just like, how does this franchise keep doing that?
Anyway, who cares?
Here they are, the Adams, Hoge Jahns.
Good morning. Welcome in. A breakfast edition of Hoge Jahns.
You're still eating breakfast right now.
I was actually just some yogurt there. I was trying to shove it into my mouth before.
There's an actual countdown that helps you
realize
when we're going live here, Adam.
Yeah, you'd be amazed what you can do in 30 seconds. I've mastered this from our CHGO shows because we have the same exact thing, and it's like counting down. And sometimes I'll literally like run to the other side of my house because I forgot like my water bottle or something. And then, so if you ever see me like starting a show and I'm like out of breath, that's why.
Because you decided to run around the studio.
Yeah, well, yeah, or my house. Like
you can't ask
up and
somebody
downstairs.
to get it for you.
There's nobody in here. I'm
talking water.
About, yeah, the meatloaf. Yeah. Man, I have way more energy right now than I thought I was going to. Yesterday was exhausting. It was hot. For some reason, I thought I should play a few holes of golf before I went to bed, like right as it was getting dark. And like, that was a mistake. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. It's like 100 degrees outside. So
it's the humidity.
Yeah.
Yesterday felt like a real camp day as opposed to the first day when we're in the air-conditioned Walter Payton Center.
So by my estimation, and really not estimation, just like memory, I think that was the hottest camp practice that we've had since maybe like the Lovie Smith era, when the practices were at 3:00.
Mark Trestman had some hot ones.
Yeah,
never that sticky though, but like it was like consistently like low 90s, humid.
But it was
not
8 a.m. Those practices were at 8 a.m. They were earlier, so I feel like it never felt that bad. And then I feel like the last few years in Bourbonnais, we actually sort of got lucky with the weather.
And we'd have to ask Mark Grody, because when Mark Grody started on the beat, like he showed up to camp wearing like cotton shirts. Do you remember that? And he was like sweating through those in like 15 minutes of Bourbonnais. Yeah. I'm like, Mark Grody, welcome to the beat, man, but you got to wear some dry fit.
Yeah.
Look like you're going golfing or something.
I will say, though, and I'm not just saying this because they're our awesome partner, and thanks for having us on Monday out at Obvious Shirts, but because the Obvious Shirts material, it's not dry fit. It's still cool enough and soft enough that I can, like, I had one on yesterday. I wore my JD shirt yesterday.
It's light. Most cotton polos aren't like that.
No, most days I go.
Mark Grody was wearing 7 years ago.
By the way, the Hoge Jahns polos that are on their way are dry fit, so we'll be able to wear those out at camp too.
Oh yeah.
But that was fun. Thanks to everybody who came out Monday. Really appreciate it. We had a great show. We had a good time. It was a good way to kick off camp. That show Monday already feels like 2 weeks ago to me. It's been quite a week. We have a lot to catch up on. That's why I wanted to go live with you this morning to get this out as fast as possible on a Friday morning, because there's another practice. We got to turn around and get out of here and go to Hal's Hall.
2 hours.
There's a practice at 10 a.m. today. Of course, open to the public again. And of course, if you ever see us out there at practice, please don't be afraid to stop and say hello. We love interacting with you guys, and we'd love to see some Hoge Jahns shirts out there too. So bonus points. Yeah, you got the new one there. I like it.
And we trust.
Thank you. It's a nice compliment that you're giving to me right now.
Depends which Adam, which moment.
But if you're wearing the shirt,
analysis?
I think it has to be about me.
No.
If I wear the shirt, I think it's about you.
I am more than happy to speak in third person this entire podcast if you want.
Well, for the record, I do trust you when it comes to your reporting. So there's at least that.
Adam can report.
Nice country music piece, by the way, out of nowhere.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Thank you. I like a little country music. I like rock and roll. I like a little bit of everything, but it struck me that Matt Eberflus was at a bunch of concerts this summer, so I had to ask him about it, and he loved talking about it. I think the moment I got him on the phone, he just went talking about every single song he likes, which shows he's been to. he's seen Kenny Chesney almost every single year since 2003. That's something. That's something. Yeah, there's a lot of country music fans, coaches out there, but I think it's notable that he makes an effort to go to so many concerts.
Yeah, I think that's cool too. It's funny because he sort of got labeled as a golf guy out of the gate, which is not wrong. He does love golf, but I think he was so caught up in the job in year one that he really didn't golf that much. Understandably so. And so, like, sometimes you try to have conversations with him about that, and he was just like, I'm not really golfing a whole lot right now. But obviously this summer he got out with these concerts, and from the sounds of what you're saying right now, and also the piece you wrote, which everyone should go read on The Athletic, theathletic.com/Hoge Jahns, like, he really feels passionate about it.
The funny thing is, like, I wanted to write this story like soon because he's like, there's gonna be country music days. I'm like, when are they gonna be? He goes, I don't know. We'll see. There's gonna be country music days.
Yeah.
So here I am, like, worried, like the first open day of camp is gonna be like country music day.
Yeah.
And Chris Emmett comes up to me afterwards. He goes, Adam, your country music counter is at 0. He's a big country music fan, Chris Emmett from The Score. But yeah, he saw Luke Combs at Soldier Field, Cody Whitehair, Braxton Jones, Treston Ebner. I forget who else was there. A few other players were there. I saw Morgan Wallen at Wrigley. Justin Fields was there. They didn't go together, but Justin Fields was also there seeing Morgan Wallen at Wrigley. And then he saw Zach Brown Band at the Windy City Smokeout, 10th annual Windy City Smokeout, which is insanely popular now. And I forgot to mention this in the story. Kevin Fishbane, of course, brought it up later. But there was a notable former Bear on the stage that night. Roquan Smith
Was on stage at the Windy City Smokeout?
Yes, with Zach Brown Band.
Oh, I didn't know that. See,
Another
that
big
sounds like
music fan.
That sounds like an awesome event. I talked to some of my neighbors that were there, though, and they're just like, it's so packed and it's hard to get the food because there's lines, and like, I'm just somewhat surprised. But maybe Flus had the inside hookup where he was at least away from the massive crowds. I hope.
Yeah, he was behind stage.
Okay.
Yeah, he was backstage. He didn't like bragging about that. Humble guy. That Matt Eberflus, but
at some point when you're a public figure, like, you almost need that at some of these things, because
Now there's Kevin. Oh, Kevin. Good morning, Kevin.
Yeah.
In the live
now
chat.
that is talking in the third person. I mean, very clearly right there with that comment. For those, I guess we should read it for those that are listening to the podcast. But he said, Kevin said, of course, Kevin Fishbane brought it up. That guy knows his stuff.
Roquan Smith, big country music fan. But yeah, although Flus would tell you, and most Chicagoans would tell you, that Sunday is the day to go to Windy City Smokeout because the crowd isn't as crazy.
Our producer, Kent, by the way, wants you to know that his Mount Rushmore country music, Charlie Crockett, Jason Isbell, Tyler Childers, and Sturgill Simpson. We'll have to pass that along to Flus.
Yes.
All right. Well, we have a lot more than just country music to talk about on this episode. We have seen a lot this week. We've heard a lot this week. We haven't had a chance on this show yet to talk about the Cole Kmet contract extension. Were you surprised at all that this? I don't think any of us were surprised that it happened, but were you surprised at all that it happened, right at the start of camp, just to get it done, I guess?
No, kind of expected it to get done. We've seen, at least with Ryan Pace, these get done during training camp at different times. This is the first one ever done by Ryan Poles, which you made sure to point out. So that is notable, just in terms of the future and what's next for the Bears, that Ryan Poles is open to getting these things done while the work is being done in training camp. So, yeah, he's one of the Bears' best players. Is he the best tight end in the game? No, but he's only, 24, 25? Getting better? Yeah. This contract, in terms of total value, puts him right there at number 6 with Jonnu Smith. Same average, lesser signing bonus, more practical guarantees in it. It's a good deal. It's a good deal for both sides.
I have been a little repetitive about this, I know, but my comp for Cole Kmet since pre-draft, when we were talking about him, has been, and to this point continues to be, Kyle Rudolph in Minnesota. A guy that could do, maybe didn't necessarily do one thing the best in the league, but did pretty much everything at the tight end position well enough that he was their tight end one for 10 years. He had 10 years in Minnesota. And just a total coincidence, he also happened to be the number 43 overall pick in the draft back in 2011. But he spent 10 years in Minnesota, huge part of that community too, charity efforts, all types of things. Like he just felt like a Minnesota Viking, right? And that, I think, is going to be Cole Kmet here for a long time. The way he plays the tight end position, will he ever be the best at his position? Probably not, but he does a lot of things well enough to be the Bears' top tight end and get paid what he got paid the other day.
I think you'll get a year or 2 or 3, though, if things pan out with Justin Fields. And so far, the early returns, or at least what we're seeing in camp, are good with Justin Fields. Like, you could have a Pro Bowl season out of Cole Kmet. Maybe 2 or 3. He's got that type of talent. He could put up that type of numbers.
I think
I'm not saying Travis Kelce that type of numbers, because that's an entirely different machine out there in Kansas City. But Pro Bowl worthy numbers out of Cole Kmet, I could completely envision that.
Kyle Rudolph went to a Pro Bowl or two, but I don't have to look a little closer. I feel like he did for sure.
Just look at it, like his numbers last year in a bad offense. 69 targets, 50 receptions, 544 receiving yards. Nice. 7 touchdowns in a bad offense.
Yeah, 2-time Pro Bowler, 2012 and 2017, Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah, Cole Kmet.
And if you look at the stats, they're relatively similar to this point, and you can certainly do way worse for a second-round pick. And just in general, like, it's been a while since a Bears player, a Bears draft pick, has received a real extension. The last one was Tariq Cohen. Think about that. I mean, that's been, was that 2020 when he received that and then immediately got hurt? And then unfortunately, everything that happened with Tariq Cohen happened. You got to retain your own players and especially first and second round picks. Like, those are the guys you got to be talking about extensions 4 years later. So regardless of who it is in this case, it's great to see one get one done. Now the question is, also drafted second round same year, Jalen Johnson. Is that going to get done or not?
So that's more money. That's a premier position. So I can understand the duration of it, why it's maybe going a little bit longer. What did you make of Ryan Poles' comments when he was asked very specifically about Jalen Johnson yesterday? You want me to read them real quick?
Yeah, if you want to. My first reaction before you read them was just that I don't get the sense that this one's that close. Yeah.
This is Ryan Poles when asked, can you give us a sense where things stand with Jalen Johnson? Yeah, he's out of camp working hard. We have a process of how we're going to do things. And when we get to that, again, I'll update you guys as we go in terms of when things get done. Do you sense things are moving in the right direction with Jalen Johnson? I like to say the relationship's good. He's out showing that he can perform at a high level, becoming that he wants to be and improves. That's all I can really say about that. Now, I get that Ryan Poles, similar to Ryan Pace, doesn't want to talk about contract extensions. He actually mentioned that like immediately in his opening remarks at his camp opening press conference a couple days ago. But this seems, I remember last year's storylines about Jalen Johnson.
Yeah.
Wasn't here practicing with the twos. This is different. They like him. Now it's trying to find common ground, but I think it's going to take longer to find that common ground.
I just wonder because I think they legitimately like Roquan last year too. I think, there's a couple different things there. I'm not sure they viewed him as the perfect fit in this defense. I'm not sure they, despite all the excitement that they talked about with him playing the weak side linebacker position, and I'm not totally convinced they viewed Roquan as a complete 100% fit culture wise, like they clearly do with Tremaine Edmonds. Does that make sense?
I think they liked Roquan Smith, but eventually when things soured in negotiations, they were done.
Well, and that's what I'm getting at. Like, I think they liked Roquan Smith enough to extend him, which they were trying to do. But there was a ceiling there. And I think the way things played out in August made things worse, obviously. I guess what I'm getting at is fair or not, because I don't begrudge players who hold out to get their money. But I think it's helping Jalen Johnson in this case that he's there, that he's practicing.
Yeah,
I think that is a good development in this case for him to get his money, because he's not one of these top tier players that can hold out and eventually get whatever it is they want, whether that's money from the team that they're currently on or force a trade to where they're going to get their money. And so in this case, because I think every case is different, I do think it's a good move by Jalen Johnson to be here, to be practicing, which he's vowed to do and said back in minicamp that's not him, even though he wasn't there, for a lot of OTAs. And that, I think, is part of, like, when Ryan Poles, some of his first words there that you just read were, he's here. The relationship is good. Like,
he's practicing, unlike being just present in the building, which Roquan Smith was.
You could tell the Bears appreciate that right now.
We're only a week, from the 1-year anniversary of the Family Fest trade demand.
That was a bizarre day.
Right.
Bizarre day. But, shout out to Ryan Poles, who addressed it head on and talked that day. And I think people were a little caught off guard. Not us, but I know I went on the score yesterday and they were like, Ryan Poles talked again today? Like, what is he just going to talk to you guys every day? I don't think so, but it is nice that, stuff happens that affect the roster that are GM decisions that he comes down and talks.
He took 9 to 10 questions, something like that. One was also about Darnell Mooney. Would you re-sign Darnell Mooney? I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Adam and we trust.
I need to see a little bit. I'm a soft yes right now, because I don't have all the medical information, obviously, like the Bears do, right? Like, if their information right now, the trainers feel good about everything, there's no long-term damage, they feel like this is a full recovery, and then he shows it here early on in camp. I don't even need to, if that's the medical information they have, I don't even need to see too much of it. I just need to see like a week's worth of practices just to see it hold up, see him get into team drills probably here soon, and just see how it looks, make sure that burst, that separation's still there. Then I'm a yes, because I think Darnell Mooney's a good player. I think last year there were a lot of fair excuses for why his numbers were down. And I think he's going to be a good fit in a much better position this year with DJ Moore out there running around with him. And I would re-sign him, because I think you're seeing from other teams in this league that you got to have more than one wide receiver.
You and I were watching Darnell Mooney closely in team drills. I think it was a team drill, right? Where Justin Fields went deep to him.
Yeah.
Obviously the connection wasn't made. I thought Mooney looked a little off. You thought the throw was a little bit late. Obviously the connection isn't what it was last year at this time. To me, Mooney looked like a player who was still on his way back. He just started to work with the full team drill, 7-on-7 and stuff again. Didn't look like himself. Cuts, breaks, all that stuff. Getting back up to normal. But I just go back to everything that Ryan Poles has said about Darnell Mooney, going all the way back to the combine 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, Darnell Mooney has won them over. Everything he does off the field. Now I think he just needs to get himself up to speed on the field. Physically, he's got to get to where he was or close to it last couple of years, and he's got an extension coming.
The criteria, I think, to get an extension is, you got to be a fit in the culture, which Darnell Mooney clearly is. And then, you obviously got to be good enough. And you got to be willing to take how the Bears value you, though, because that's the other part of this. Like, Ryan Poles in this front office, they've shown and proven so far that whatever the formula is with their analytics, with their number crunching, it's a huge combination of their scouts, of their financial guys, their contract negotiators, and then the analytics that they put in there. They spit out a number and a contract, and I'm sure they're willing to negotiate on how it's built, and Poles actually talked about that yesterday. How the average per year doesn't really matter. That really they try to build these deals, and they try to give Cole the type of built deal that he wanted, even though it seems pretty team friendly. Like, you can finagle it a little bit that way, but at the end of the day, they put a value on you, and they're not gonna go over it too much. So that's where this is maybe tricky with Darnell Mooney, because he's coming off the injury.
And we're not talking about some massive extension here. This is the second tier receiver money, right? There's no way they're going over that.
Right, but I could also see from Mooney's standpoint, if I don't, if it's not a first-year offense last year, if I don't get hurt, like, I could have been on my way to huge money, and the season just didn't go that way.
With DJ Moore here, I think he's lost some leverage, including with his own injury situation.
Yeah.
Can I just throw out some numbers for you? You got like Tyler Boyd, 4 years, $43 million. Alan Lazard, 4 years, $44 million. Chris Godwin, 3 years, $60, probably a little bit below that. Corey Davis, 3 years, $37.5 million. Deontay Johnson got 2 years, $36.7. Like that range, maybe. Brandon Cooks, 2 years, nearly $40 million.
So
are those the comps we're talking about? Just terms of money. I'm just throwing out middle tier, second tier, whatever you want to call it, receiver money.
He's 25 years old. I remember when Allen Robinson signed with the Bears. Remember, is that somewhat shorter 3-year deal?
It was a 3-year deal.
I think it was around $12 million a year. Maybe even less than that. But the idea was he was going to hit free agency again. So I just wonder if you're Darnell Mooney, maybe you take a 2 or 3-year deal to try to hit free agency again, really. By your time you're 28.
Hunter Renfrow, 2 years, $32 million.
Yeah.
Jacoby Myers, 3 years, $33 million.
Be interesting. I think if I had to guess right now, Darnell Mooney is a Bear next year.
Yeah.
Jalen Johnson, I'm still like 50-50 on. I get some good vibes, but I don't know. What would you put a percentage on it?
Well, they've drafted the position 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
High.
They also traded for DJ Moore.
Yes.
A wide receiver. So
I know, but you needed another receiver, and you need at least two. The Bears drafted one in the first round and the one in the second. They traded up for Tyreek Stevenson in the second round.
Yeah.
Tyreek Stevenson's been running with the ones. Here's your secondary, everybody. I don't mind saying it. You have Jalen Johnson and Tyreek Stevenson on the outside. You have Kyler Gordon inside at nickelback, and you got Brisker and Eddie Jackson at safety.
You need all those guys, though.
You do.
Like all of a sudden, you don't bring Jalen Johnson back, and it looks. But then again, you could play out the season.
Next
you lose
year.
him.
That's next year. Then you draft another guy in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. So
Gordon bumps outside. You sign a nickelback.
What do you think about the quarterback so far?
Were you waiting for that? We've talked so much about wanting to see like a clean 7-on-7.
Mhm.
So when we have the 7-on-7 drill, like, were you watching those? I wanted them to be better. It doesn't help when there's drops.
Well, the first practice was good. There are hardly any balls on the ground.
Inside, though.
I know. Okay, so yesterday though, I did not. There were a couple. There were a couple throws that should have been intercepted. One I marked down as a dropped INT. I thought mostly any other sloppiness where there's some drops. That's not on Justin. I think his first 2 days have been pretty good.
You know what's very good is his connection with DJ Moore.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah. Cole Kmet made some nice catches too. I think that's working. I think I'll you know what? I'll phrase it this way. I think Justin Fields is working.
Yeah.
I want to see Darnell Mooney get back up to speed. I want to see Chase Claypool get back up to speed because he missed a lot of time in OTAs.
I'm wondering if Chase Claypool's going to practice today
After his collision with Terrell Smith in the
Yeah,
middle.
because did he bang his knee and that's why he was limping, or did he re-aggravate whatever's been going on?
He left under his own power. Trainers didn't come meet with him, at least in that moment.
Yeah, but how many practices have you seen where like somebody gets banged up and then all of a sudden they're not practicing the next day?
That's true. But
especially in training camp.
So that opens the door for somebody else. Tyler Scott looked great yesterday, especially in one-on-one drills.
Yeah.
The Duke could fly. He had like 10 yards of separation on somebody yesterday. I forget the cornerback. Not one of the Bears' best players. Leave it at that. I forget who he is.
Michael Hoge Jahns.
Oh, you're gonna okay. There you go. You're
from
me.
Iowa.
Anyway, he was burnt bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
There's a good video of it the Bears put out.
Okay, it's out there.
Oh yeah.
Tyler Scott can fly. He's going to be a problem.
So I was going to do some awards here. And one of them was going to be Rookie of the Week.
Okay.
Rookie of the Week. And so far, I think Tyler Scott is my answer to that question.
You know who's getting like a full dose of NFL action? And this is all going to be good for him, is Stevenson.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, it's not easy going up against DJ Moore every single day in practice, which he is. 1-on-1, 7-on-7, full team. That is the rookie's baptism by fire every single snap.
So, and some people were worried that, they saw the video of DJ Moore, that nice touchdown catch in the indoor the other day. And Stevenson was in coverage, and they're like, okay, well, was this bad for Steve? Like, that was pretty decent coverage. DJ Moore did just a great job of using his body to shield him off and create that separation on the sideline so that the last second he can go there and snag it. That's really good. It was a good throw, good catch, and good coverage. That happens in football. That's why it can be such a great game when everybody's playing well. So I love it for Stevenson. I'm not worried at all that he's gotten beat a couple times. I think this is a great experience for him. But he has been beat a few times. So if I got to pick out one rookie this week, I'm going with Tyler Scott. With a kind of TBD on all the linemen, right? Like, because they don't have pads on. It would be unfair to say that Darnell Wright or Jerron Dexter or Zach Pickens have been,
Next Wednesday it gets real.
Now there's confusion on that because Khalil Herbert thought they were putting pads on Monday. And then I think one of the Bears guys said August 1st, which would be Tuesday. So I don't know. Now I'm confused. I'm going to get that.
I hope they do it every single day that week.
I thought asking the head coach and the GM would be the best way to get the right answer, but maybe it's that. This is the annual tradition. There's always confusion over what day the pads go on. And I don't know why I care about it and lose so much sleep over it, but I do. Damn it, I want football.
No, you care about it because it's like the one of the most fun days at camp.
I do.
The energy is just overflowing that day.
Well,
Doesn't
and
matter where.
Selfishly, I was very paranoid that it was going to be tomorrow, and I'm not going to be there tomorrow. So I do appreciate that the Bears are moving pads to next week because I'm not going to be there tomorrow.
No, usually it's like 4 or 5 days of ramping up, as they would say.
Yeah. Okay, so who's your rookie of the week?
It's Tyler Scott.
Okay.
You're right. It's like Darnell Wright looks good, but Pads are not.
How about okay, if I got to go offensive player of the week, it's got to be DJ Moore, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like what I've seen from Field so far, but DJ's like it's just like perfect. He doesn't drop the ball. He's always open. He catches it when they throw it to him. He had pink shoes on yesterday, which is added bonus points. What else?
You know who had a good rep against DJ Moore yesterday and broke up the pass was Jalen Johnson.
Yes.
1-on-1s right in front of all of us.
Yeah. I think Kyler Gordon might have had one too. Also, they ran a play for DJ Moore deep where Eddie Jackson picked him up perfectly, which was good to see. And
I saw that one.
Ran him downfield. And then Justin, to his credit, very quickly checked the ball down.
I still wanted him to throw that deep.
Oh, you did? He was.
Yeah.
I mean, Eddie was all over him though.
He was. That's when I was in on my perch in the
Yep.
shade that you so happily tweeted yesterday.
Soft. Did you see the memes of Kevin?
Yes. Kind of. If you can find that quickly and share that, because we know Kevin is watching, that would be great. Hoge tweeted a picture of us at practice yesterday, finding some shade on a 95-degree humid day, and someone had fun with Kevin's pointing. I don't know what he was pointing at, but
Yeah, if you scroll through my feed, Kent, it's I don't know. It's a little you'll see a picture of Kevin and Johnson, and then the responses are just outstanding. My favorite one was the woman from the plane.
oh, I didn't see that one.
Oh yeah, where she that MFer up there isn't real because Kevin was pointing like she is in the video. So good.
That is good. What were we talking about?
Offensive player of the week. So we agree on DJ Moore, I assume.
Moore.
And then
there's
here
the
we
picture.
go. Yeah, you guys are just hanging out in the shade. Oh,
It's hot.
Kevin's slightly in the sun, pointing at something. Maybe one of those aliens that they've been talking about the last couple days.
Yeah, keep scrolling there, Kent. If you're watching on YouTube, we're looking at Adam Hoge's Twitter timeline here.
There was one. Hit the show more replies because there was one that was Kevin being the woman from the plane. That MFer up there isn't real.
Where is this?
Where's the sun? Kevin pointing at it. Someone Photoshop something. I don't know why that's not in there.
Where's the one with the big Saturday Night Fever?
Yeah, there was a Photoshop. Maybe that was the quote tweet. Scroll up and hit the one quote tweet.
I know I retweeted it.
No, that was you. I don't know where that went. Well, shout out to whoever did that because I liked it.
There it is.
Oh, there it is. Scroll up just a little bit. Who did that? I want to give them. Oh, it's Nate. Nate Flint, I think. Yep.
Thanks, Nate
_Flint on Twitter. Good job. Tweet of the week right there.
If you're listening, just check out our timelines from Thursday at camp. Yeah, DJ Moore by far. In terms of defensive players, I've noticed a lot is DeMarcus Walker.
Okay.
Just because of the energy, the passion. He's loud. He's got some fire to him. Like, watch him the next few days at practice. If you yourself you're coming to practice and you're listening, watch him during the drills that he's not even in, especially the team stuff. Like, he is on the field yelling, watching intently. I think the Bears might have one of those. I don't want to compare it to the Akeem Hicks signing because that turned out to be one of the Ryan Pace's best, but just like a young emerging veteran who's capable of delivering more and might be entering the right situation here with the Bears.
So the Bears got two players up front from the Titans, Nate Davis and DeMarcus Walker. And what's interesting to me is, you talk to people around the league this offseason, and not just this year, but past years too. Like, there's a level of respect for the way that the Titans play football, especially in the trenches. A lot of that comes from Mike Vrabel's background. When you play the Titans, it's going to be a tough physical football game, right? And it caught my ear in Netflix series, quarterback, the Chiefs have had problems with the Titans when they play them. And when Mahomes was talking about playing the Titans, he talked, and this was last season, so it's when those guys were on the field. He said that they have a roster full of underrated football players, like guys that just kind of grind it out and don't necessarily get the level of respect nationally. And I don't know how else you could look at Nate Davis and DeMarcus Walker. I mean, Walker puts up the sack numbers he did last year, and he's still, signing with the Bears for somewhat modest money. These are the types of free agent signings, and I'm bringing this up because of Akeem Hicks, like you bringing that up, like guys that were playing the game the right way somewhere and not necessarily getting noticed completely, and now come to a new team that fits them really well. And I think both of these guys are good fits, both culturally and schematically. And you might see even bigger results. I find these two signings very, very interesting. And if there's one team that because anytime in free agency, we always talk about being fool's gold, right? And you're like, okay, well, what's wrong with them? Why were they available? That's the other side of it. But in this case, I think it's very possible that these were just underrated players, kind of that we're waiting to get their opportunity and their money somewhere else. And if there's one team that I like signing these types of players from, I feel good that they came from Tennessee.
He plays with a high motor and a nasty. We're inside the Walter Payton Center for the Bears' first practice at camp, and they're just doing individual drills. They're getting off the ball with speed, and they're racing to a bag held by the defensive line coach. And it is Justin Jones versus DeMarcus Walker. And Walker beats him, and he let Jones know about it. And Jones was not happy whatsoever. I mean, they're not fighting. They're not jawing back and forth, but there's a swagger or an edge there that's going to bring something out differently from this defensive line, which needs to get after quarterbacks, which didn't sack the quarterback nearly enough. Like, that felt notable to me that was so intense, that individual drill in the Walter Payton Center on the first day of camp, just beating his teammate to the bag. I love the competition. We've seen a few drills that way, especially in individual periods. And I think motor, I think what Walker brings in terms of motor and nasty, it's going to be good for that group.
I like the conversation going on in our comments right now as we're live on YouTube. Mark Kazak asking, when's the Walker Jenkins fight going to happen?
Yeah. Were we talking about that on the sideline, or was it me and the fish man?
No, that must have been the fish man. But yeah, I mean, at some point the pads go on, you get your little skirmishes.
Yeah. I think I might have been with Carmen DeFalco from ESP 1000 where we're talking about Walker, and he's coming off the field after one of those reps where he's just loud and nasty. And he was asked when the first fight's going to be, and I'm like, I think it's going to be Jenkins and Walker. You can see it. Now, Walker's been outside more than inside. He has done both, at least what we've seen so far, but all it takes is one stun up the middle. There's some fun stuff between the big boys.
You know who I would pick, though, as my defensive, granted it's 2 practices, but top defensive player through two days?
Who do you got?
Kyler Gordon. I think Kyler Gordon he's been breaking up balls. I don't know if they just still know the offense so well at this point, because they have been jumping on any type of swing or anything to a running back.
He
would
have had at least 3 tackles for loss yesterday and 1 potential knockout hit on some receiver yesterday. He was that close, and yeah, he's letting up. But yes, I know what you're talking about. Those quick screens.
I mean, I don't blame him for being vocal about wanting to play outside. That's where the money is. That's where these guys want to play. I get it, but he could be a very, very, very good slot corner if he embraces it. They were talking about this in the Play Callers podcast, which you guys should check out, by the way, if you haven't already. Kent did a great job helping produce that Jordan Rodriguez did. And one of the conversations, because there's so much she gets into on scheme, but the evolution and rise of these hybrid nickels that can kind of do everything. And Kyler, to me, is that type of nickel. He could do a lot. And so I hope he embraces playing that position. I think he's off to a great start so far early on at camp.
He's fast. He sets the edge really well, just in terms of the run too. I saw one of those against Khalil Herbert. It's tough to see where tackles are made. There's none of that contact, but when your cornerback is in the backfield and the running back has to cut inside quickly into where all your help is defensively, usually a good sign that the nickelback is doing his job.
A couple other players I just wanted to shout out really quick. I think Jalen Johnson has had a good start to camp, but that one almost surprised me.
Read theathletic.com today. Kevin Fishman on him.
Yeah. Now,
although Luke Getsy was on him for one play yesterday,
which I laughed because, and I'm sure overall it is the case, but Getsy in his press conference yesterday talked about how much better like Bayless has been lining up and all this stuff. And on that particular play, he was pissed off about how he lined up. It was clear as day. So, yeah, I hope that was just one play and not.
Well, overall, that was just one ugly play where Fields just kind of just threw it up for grabs.
Yeah. Was that the one towards us on the sideline where it was just like floating in the air like a helicopter for a while?
I'm sure it got tipped, but yeah, that ball was hanging in the air, wobbly. Not sure who it went to. It almost looked like he was trying to throw it away, and one of the defensive linemen got his hands on it.
Yeah. One of the referees on the sideline made a face like that. Well, that was ugly. And I was like, hey, man, you don't get to do that. Stick to your refereeing. Come on.
To Mark's point here, I know the defense was bad last year, but weren't they top 10 in takeaways? One other observation I had yesterday was how many balls were punched out. Yeah, I had at least 3, and a lot of these were by the backups. I mentioned the Jalen Johnson win in one-on-one against DJ Moore. That was batted away. That wasn't like a real reception. That's a PBU, but just in terms of reception, them fumbles, the defense was punching the ball out a few times, and these were the backups.
Yeah, and I didn't like in practice the other day, the clean offensive practice that some of those wide receivers put the ball on the ground after they caught it. So, but a lot of that's just the way the defense plays. So, isn't it fun in camp? The good and the bad, you got to weigh it. Good for the offense, bad for the defense. Good for the defense, bad for the offense. That's the fun. But as long as iron sharpens iron, right?
We haven't gotten that quote yet from a player or a coach.
Yeah, that's surprising. That's maybe the biggest upset of the week.
That used to be like a go-to quote from the Mark Trestman years. I felt like the receivers use that a lot.
Iron sharpens iron. Hey, the receivers were decent in the Mark Trestman years.
Better than decent.
Yeah. Where would you – I had this question come up yesterday. Where would you rank DJ Moore's early dominance at camp compared to what we saw from Brandon Marshall when he got here and Allen Robinson when he got here?
Better than Allen Robinson. Marshall and Cutler were different already. That was like a reunion, and you saw the chemistry almost immediately.
But that's what this chemistry reminds me of, even though they don't have past history. Like, just anytime one throws the two, it's like
it looks good.
It looks good. It's the right decision, even if the defense happens to break it up. But most of the time, two is catching it, and he's just got the confident swagger about him that he knows what he's doing.
Marshall had that camp was rowdy. Isn't that the same camp? No. Was it year 2?
He got there in 12, I thought. Wasn't he still there? Didn't Emory go out and get him right away?
Yes. I forget the years. I'm thinking of the Kyle Fuller, Martellus Bennett fight in Bourbonnais, the last really, really big fight.
Yeah, well, that was...
Although we've seen Kyle Long, what was that, 2 years ago with the Matt Nagy night scrimmage? Remember that?
With the swinging of the helmet. Yeah, Marshall was in 12, so he played 1 year under Lovey and then finished it out in 13 and 14 before Ryan Pace couldn't wait to get rid of him.
Also true.
Yeah, the Kyle Long swinging of the helmet. I think Kyle's calmed it down a little bit. All I see from him on social media is golf.
Golf? Some dad stuff?
We should go play golf.
Kyle.
I'll go play golf with Kyle if he comes back here to Chicago. It'd be fun. He tweeted the other day that he just like randomly tweeted, "Hey, anyone want to play golf today?" He went and played golf with like 3 random people from Twitter.
Yeah,
we should do that. I would do that.
2 random people from Twitter.
Someone on Twitter. I don't know. You got like a
Got an in at a nice country club? Let us know.
Yeah, Medina. I mean, Peggy Kaczynski won't take me to Medina, so
I'm in. Let us know. Tweet at us.
I have to say, you know that I am actually jealous of something that Barstool is doing. Have you seen this? The Corn Ferry Tours at the Glen Club this week.
Okay.
And they're broadcasting the tournament. And that's like my dream. I just like not like as a job, just like one time I want to be the guy on the golf course that walks around with like the headset on, like my sideline reporting for football, but to get to do it for golf.
Yeah.
Oh, yesterday was probably a little hot to do that, but still, I would do it gladly. I
saw that PFT came out with a video where he's talking about breaking 100. Got to see what that's all about.
Oh.
I also still need to do that. There's been times I'm not the best golfer, but some holes look like I am the best golfer. But I've flirted with breaking 90 once, but then it gets away.
Yeah, you break 100. You usually.
I have, yes. But like then there's some days I want to consistently be, in that 90 to 100 range. I'm not a pro here.
I'm finally getting to the point where I can get under 90, and I get mad if I don't. But I'm still kind of right around there.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Yeah, sometimes it's like you're right there. And it's like the last 2 holes, and you're right there.
Yeah.
And then like you lose a ball. And you spend like 20 minutes looking for it because you know what it means for your score.
Yeah.
That's how it happens with me.
All right.
Any other impressions from camp? For me, I think the Cody Whitehair experience is going so far so good at center. I haven't seen any drop snaps or anything.
No. In fact, the only high snap I've noticed at all so far in the first 2 days was a Lucas Patrick snap. And PJ Walker was still able to catch it. It was just a little high.
He's pretty good, by the way, PJ Walker.
I like him.
That's another observation. He could throw it.
His arm is massive.
Yeah.
Well, he threw that 70-yard bomb to DJ Moore last year to tie the game, but then DJ Moore took his helmet off.
Yeah, he throws a good deep ball, PJ Walker. I've noticed that early in camp. Kmet looks good. Robert Tonyan, the Bears will definitely get something out of him. I'm interested to see when the pants come on how this running back situation works out. I don't think they really have a number one guy. I know they don't want a number one guy, but you want someone close to being that to carry the load a bit. They're rotating guys in and out, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's. I want to make sure we get this comment up from Mike. Mike Fisher, who said, "Evening, guys from the Philippines.
Love it.
Can't wait. Can't believe we will have football to watch in 1 week, and the Bears in 15 days."
Thanks, Mike.
Football, even preseason football, I still like it. I mean, I get tired of it really quickly, but I do like it. It's better than no football.
Yeah, I'll watch the first 5 minutes of the first quarter, depending who's in.
The Philippines, though, that's dope.
I've been to the Philippines.
That's fun, Mike. Isn't that like your family's?
My mother's Filipino.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I don't know that we've ever had a listener from the Philippines, unless it's, I guess, your family.
I've seen on there that we've had listeners today from Scotland as well.
See, now those are my people.
Scotland.
Love it. All right. Hydrate. Drink lots of water. It's going to be another hot day.
98 degrees here in Chicago. Still humid as hell.
Did you get hit by a storm in the middle of the night, by the way?
Loud.
Oh, my God.
That was a loud one.
Swear I was hit by lightning in my sleep last night.
I thought at first, I woke up, I'm like, is my son downstairs watching some type of movie? Like, it was that loud, like someone's blasting like a war movie.
Yeah.
But no, that was the thunder rolling in.
I have to go outside. I swear one hit a tree like right outside our house. It was so, and then James, it was one of those where the kids come running. James was running down the hallway at 4 a.m. and I couldn't blame him because it was that loud. And then my next thought was, oh crap, I left the cushions out there. Should I go run out there in the lightning storm? Don't worry, I didn't do that. But everyone knows what I'm talking about. It's like the worst feeling. Damn it, the cushions are going to be wet for like 2 days.
Yeah, that reminds me. You should check mine.
Yeah. And you're like, I could run out there. It's not raining that hard yet, but I might die from lightning. So maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe it's not worth it. All right. Appreciate everybody watching this morning. A lot of fun. And I'm going to finish my breakfast, shoot over to House Hall. It's going to be hot out there again, but it should be a fun day. If anybody's out there, make sure you say hi, whether it's today or any other day coming up here. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at Adam Hoge, at Adam Johns, Reed Johnsy on The Athletic, theathletic.com/Hoge Jahns. You can find me at all CHGO, though most of my stuff coming via newsletter during camp every morning for you, Monday through Friday. For our CHGO diehards, go to allchgo.com/diehard to sign up. Then you can get the newsletter, and it's in your inbox every morning. I wrote about those cadences and some of the issues in practice yesterday and some of the stuff that Luke Getsy said about that after practice. I thought that was super interesting, so you can check that out. Obviousshirts.com is where all the merchandise is. Got some new stuff out now. More on the way in the next couple weeks as we reboot and re-kick off this 2023 season with Obvious Shirts. Thanks to them. Thanks to everybody watching this morning. Thanks for listening. And we'll be back next week, continuing to break down training camp with 2 more episodes. We'll talk to you then.
See ya.